True international suffered the pressure.
Too many suffer the pressure. Pushing down on me. Pushing down on you.
Yeah, what's up, boys? How's it going? A little something going on in Colorado right now. Colorado state legislature is trying to push through the Senate anyway. I think it still has to go through the House and then to the governor, but I don't think there's any reason why it wouldn't pass. Some anti-gun legislation in Colorado. We already talked about this. This is like the super duper, like ooper fucking schlooper of the duper for taking away our gun rights as they make jokes and laugh on the stage. They're on a little break right now. I don't know. Someone posted this in the Discord, and I was sitting around, and I'm like, oh my God. This is going on right now. I didn't know that. So, shout out. Even though I hate shout outs. But in this case, I think it is appropriate. But I forget who it is. So I gotta go to Discord. Hold on. Num. How you guys doing tonight? Onin Fools. It was Mr. Onin Fools who posted this. So again, they're in a vacation, a break right now. They're always on vacation, dude. Compared to like my job and most of your jobs, I'm sure, if not probably all. Like these jobs are so fucking cushy. Like, look how fat that bitch is. You couldn't be that fat and do my job. Look how old and fat that guy is. You couldn't be that old and fat and doing nothing and standing there and get paid to work at my job, eating a Halls or whatever the fuck he just popped in his mouth. He's got a sore throat. He's got the Kofefi. I can actually feel lucky to be in Bama, says MSB. In some ways, for sure. I didn't even send out any links for this. It's just me right now. If anyone wants to hop in, let me know. And no, I'm not trolling you, Daniel. Daniel. Anyway. Yeah, apparently they've been going for 11 hours straight. Like they're trying to compete with Trump right now, kind of. Like they suck at it. But Colorado legislature, much like the country, has state, House, Senate, Supreme Court, and the governor are all
Senator Pelton.
Super Democrat.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It feels kind of eerie to be the first one after a little break. But back to what I was talking about. You know, I heard this bill in committee. We heard from several people that testified that said the language of this bill is just poorly drafted. You know, it's hard to understand. The good senator from Brighton was going on about
what the fuck just happened? Did you go over your maximum amount of time for a stream?
You know, it's hard to understand. The good senator from Brighton was going on about
I think they might have gone over their maximum time for the stream. Oh no, and that's going to kill my stream.
Of the following and substitute means. Page 4, strike lines 22 through 26 and substitute section, a gas-operated semi-automatic handgun with a detachable magazine.
Senator Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, the wording explains it all. What this amendment does is just strictly takes out gas-operated semi-automatic handgun with a detachable magazine. You know, just removing that really cleans up the language in this bill quite a bit. So with that, I would move L022 and ask for a yes vote.
Thank you for moving your amendment, Senator Pelton. Now Senator Pelton B.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise in support of the amendment. I think this will really clean up a lot of stuff, and especially when it comes down to figuring out what is a gas-operated semi-automatic handgun and detachable magazine. Again, we're going to have to. The sheriff told us, one of the sheriffs told us, he's going to have to send it off to CBI to see if that's what the gun is or what the weapon does. So it's not like they can see it right off the bat. I mean, especially when you're talking about gas operated, they're going to have to tear it apart to make sure that that is gas operated. So I think this will clean it up a little bit. And this is I rise and ask for an aye vote.
Senator Sullivan.
We would have to send it off to the
Thank you, Madam
Colorado
Chair.
Bureau of
I rise,
Investigation to
for
determine
no
whether a
vote
handgun meets
on
our criteria for
L022.
gas operated or not. What a
Ignoring the
fucking bunch of
semi-automatic
fucking
rifles that accept
retards.
detachable magazines, including the AR-15s and the AK-47s, and the gun used in the deadliest mass shootings, the semi-automatic shotguns that accept detachable magazines, which are primarily AR and AK-style shotguns, would severely limit Senate Bill 3 aim at protecting the public. Makes no sense to require fixed magazines for AR-15 pistols, but not the AR-15 rifles. For example, when the only difference between the two items is the latter has a shoulder stock. So with that, I ask for a no vote on L022.
What a fat fuck.
Is there any
Someone
further
should ban
discussion on
cheeseburgers for him. It looks like
L22?
the most deadly thing
Seeing
he's
none, the
dealing with.
motion before the body is the adoption of L22. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The noes have it, and L22 is lost. Senator Pelton, B.
Yeah. So thank
I
you,
don't
Madam
understand
Chair.
what's going on.
So ever since I got to this chamber, I found out I've learned several things on how we do
You
stuff.
guys are obviously
And one of those is that felonies don't stop crime, is what my understanding is. So especially on Monday, I was in the Judiciary Committee, and I heard that over and over and over again. And so I'm going to run an amendment to fix that in this. Okay.
I can't tell if this guy's
Majority
pro gun or
Leader
anti-gun.
Rodriguez.
Senator L5, please.
Senator L5.
Dude, this is like the sloppiest bullshit. They've been doing it 12 hours straight so that they can get all of their amendments done, so that they can get it passed, so that they can get a vote, because they want to get it done as soon as possible. In spite of the fact that the Bruin decision from the Supreme, they're just ignoring the Supreme Court. They're like doing this in direct opposition, in direct fucking contradiction to what the Supreme Court said, what they should be doing about Second Amendment cases and with Second Amendment law moving forward, at least unless and until the Second Amendment itself can be modified by having a 2/3 vote of the House and Senate, which is basically an impossibility. I believe that's what it is. Fact check me, someone out there, if I'm wrong. Maybe it's 3/4. I'm not sure. Whatever it is, it's a very difficult thing to amend a constitutional amendment or to get rid of it or to do whatever, right? They have to have overwhelming vote for it. And they just don't have that, and they're not going to. And the Bruin decision says exactly how to interpret the gun laws that are on the books. So what are we doing here, boys? It's like, as soon as you pass these things and then they make it to the state Supreme Court, and then of course the state Supreme Court's going to uphold your bullshit fucking gun laws, and then it's going to have to go to the federal Supreme Court, the actual Supreme Court, where they're going to overturn everything because they already said you can't do this shit. And in the meantime, they're just going to violate who knows how many Coloradans' rights. I mean, it's American rights, but it's specifically my state. And how long is that process going to take? How long is it going to take to go from passing the bill and going into into enactment? Jesus Christ, I can't speak. And then making it all the way up to the Supreme Court where it gets overturned, and then having it actually overturned. And I don't trust the court systems in this country anyway. Like, so much of it's bought and paid for and corrupt and ulterior motives and second-hand fucking behind-the-counter deals that they have with these judges and prosecutors to go after certain things. Like, we're seeing it unfold with the whole USAID shit. A lot of these Soros-funded things were also funded by USAID. Like, Soros found a way to make his dollars go further in America. It was like, for every dollar he puts in, we'll put in two of taxpayer money. It's great. If you're trying to overthrow governments, that's what you want, right? Is help. But yeah, they're sitting back and arguing about bullshit. Glad I found that second stream so quick. I was like, what the fuck? It just suddenly ended. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll start streaming this and find out what's going on and tell you guys what's up, and strike. Not exactly. Although I do have to be careful. I don't want another strike, because if I get 2 strikes on my channel at the same time, then it's mucho dangeroso of getting a 3rd strike and not having a channel anymore, which is not ideal. Kind of like having a channel and having people to talk to and stuff. It's kind of nice. I thought there'd be more action in this, though, but apparently not. What do you know? The government's sitting around doing nothing. Like, what are they even talking about right now? Guys getting loosey-goosey? Shaking them shoulders? You got fat bitch Karen pacing back and forth. She's as annoyed as I am. She wants to get the fuck out of here. It's like, why are you guys even not voting for this already? Look, she's just pacing back and forth. Yeah, dude, this sucks. So don't say faggot. You can say faggot. Faggot, 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 faggot. Faggot, faggot, faggot. See? You can say faggot. Faggot's okay. You can say the N-word too, but I'm not going to, because I'm not black. There's probably not even one senator in that chamber that even knows what Bruin is. Well, the thing is, they had public discussions, public commentary. What's the word? I'm not sure. A couple of weeks ago, it was like 2 weeks ago, when Saberwolf came on, and he went there and actually talked to these people. And he was saying how several of the people who were speaking in opposition to the bill specifically mentioned and talked about Bruin, and how what they're doing is in direct opposition to the Supreme Court judgment. So they're aware of it. I don't know if they're buying into that, or they're just confirmation biasing that shit, where you hear someone who says something that's contrary to what you already believe or want to know, and it just makes you double down on the thing that you are. So someone tells you can't do that because the Supreme Court told you so. Fuck that shit. I'll do what I want. You know what I mean? Be careful, Honda, if you say faggot 3 times in the mirror. Candyman. Ah! What's up, Lead on Steel? They might have a huge voice vote like Congress did to pass the Hughes Amendment in the 80s. That way no one knew who voted for it. For what? Yeah, I mean, I think that's how they do it in Colorado. Yay or nay, and then whoever's the loudest or whoever seems like they have more voices wins. Which is also stupid, dude. Like, you should have accountability if you're an elected official for the things that you vote or don't vote for or don't show up to vote for or whatever, or vote against. You know, all of that should be a matter of public record. And I don't think it is. And I still don't know what's going on. But whatever. What are you guys up to tonight? The day before Valentine's Day, the day that was made up by a card company. Also, when Ray Ray shows up to all your ceiling fans, turn on full speed. Who decides which side is louder? The fucking guy with the gavel. I think it's that bitch with the gavel who keeps fucking pacing back and forth because she just wants to pass this shit and go home. She's ready to trample on our rights. That's all she wants to do. They're right tramplers. Oh man, who's texting me? Who's calling me? 9:00 at night. Oh, it's work. Hey, can you work till 7 Saturday for a party? Yes. Yes, I can. I can. Sorry. Yeah, anyway. So this is the speed of government. This is how fast things move at the speed of... this is why I couldn't work in government, man. I would just be so frustrated, just sitting around for hours at a time, just wasting my life away in committee, waiting for a vote. Like, I don't even know what they're waiting for. Like, they were like in the middle of talking and someone was like, and they muted it and everything stopped. And it's been like that for like 4 minutes. Gavel Nazis are the worst. Bro, with everything coming out about USAID and other government corruption and the circle jerks, like, did you guys watch, what was the name of it? It was the Mike Benz Joe Rogan podcast episode. Because if you did, holy shit. It is... Yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy, dude. And I'm going to have to watch it 2 or 3 more times just to fucking fully understand everything that they're talking about. Because it's so interwoven and there's so many different facets to who is stealing what and how and which organization is using which organization as, you know what I mean? Like, and he gives specific examples, and I mean, they talk about like COVID censorship and how all of that worked through USAID and how it worked through defunding people's bank accounts, not bank accounts, but monetization. So like if you're a small media company or a smaller YouTube channel or whatever it is, and you're talking about things that they don't like, they put you on a list of things that they don't like, and they have like weird internet speak of ways to label you in a way that makes it okay to discriminate against you and make sure that you don't get any fucking advertisers, because then they go to the advertisers and say, well, here's this person who did X, Y, and Z, and like they're part of this group and they believe in this, and that's going to be a part of your name brand if you've advertised on this. So do you want to keep advertising on this? Wink, wink. Which of course then they don't, which is why, you know, Reuters lost, I think it was 90% of their fucking funding overnight. Why Tim Cass and other fucking channels have had to go to a different model of monetization rather than getting their money through YouTube. Why channels like mine, I think, will eventually be using the powers of litigation. That's not a word. Using lawyers to go after the fucking government to make up for the fucking bullshit that we've been through. Because we're putting in work, man. We're doing things on the YouTube and we're getting fucking suppressed because of reasons. And the reasons are political. And those political reasons are pushed by governments. And we happen to have a government that's specifically supposed to not do that. So what's the recourse? What's the ramification? What can I do to make myself whole and others like me? Like Never Enough Ammo would be another great example of someone who his channel's probably been fucked over in 17 different ways because of the things that he talks about, you know? And there's no way to like prove how big you would have been if your channel hadn't got fucked with, if they'd given you like the normal algorithms that other people had, how big your channel would be and how much money you'd be making, what the difference would be. There's no way to fucking know that. So I would hope that if it comes to that the judges and juries will side on the side of the people and not the fucking corporations. And punish the corporate. Dude, they've got such deep... Dude, YouTube, Google has so much fucking money. Oh my God. And I wonder how much of it they got from USAID, to be honest. Also, did you guys hear that Trump fired every single DA? Prosecutor. He fired every single prosecutor that Biden hired. So if you were a prosecutor appointed by Biden, you don't have a job. Across the board, no ands, ifs, or buts, just period. I think that's great. YouTube loves Yankees channel as well. Yeah, well, I mean, Yankee talks about guns, man. Like, he might be liberal, he might have some things that they like, but the main thing he talks about, they've labeled as something that they don't like. And then once they label you as someone that they don't like, I don't know what you can even do to get off of that list. I don't think you can. Hold on, I need a drink. I will be right back. Ugh. Put bottle of water in the fridge, in the freezer area of the fridge. It's got ice in it. Give me some ranch while you're at it. Go fuck yourself. You almost lost your spanner over that one, Mr. Preston Garvey. You almost lost your spanner. Politicians put us on hold. Only in soda form? Are you talking about the ranch? I wonder who did that. That's some whack shit. Putting ranch behind my car at my work. Ranch soda. You guys remember that? Pepperidge Farms remembers. Also, big fan of the Crystal Light zero sugar drink mixers that you put into water bottles. I drink a lot more water that way. I mean, I know it's probably not good for you, as good as water anyway, but it's not a soda. Do it, Ranch Boy. Take my spanner. Well, I mean, if they're just going to have this shit on pause the whole fucking time, I thought there'd be some action here and we'd have something to talk about based upon the actions of the Colorado Senate. But the senatorial five's been like 15 minutes. Watch, they're about to come back. Fucking fat bitch with a gavel sat down. She's super frustrated. She's over it. Look at her hand on her head. They're sitting back down. I think we're about to start again. I've been wrong before. You should do an experiment and start a second channel where you just talk about how gun laws are great. See, I don't know if that would work because like the MAC address and shit would be like you'd have to like VPN in and I don't know. You'd have to do certain things to make sure that there was no way that they could fucking attach both of your accounts. And even then, they've got ways to hunt that down and sniff it out. Like if you have a second channel, or if you start a second channel, excuse me, while you have a strike or while you have 2 strikes, and you're not able to upload because when you first get a strike, it's just 1 strike. It's a week that you can't upload. And when you have 2 strikes, it's a month, right? And if during that week or during that month, you're like, fuck this shit, I want to fucking still upload. So I'm going to make a second channel and upload videos. And they catch you, which they have ways of catching you again. That's automatic ban forever from YouTube. So they really don't like that. I think it was Styx Hexenhammer got kicked off of YouTube for doing that, if I remember correctly. Which I never really liked that guy. He was just a repeater. That guy doesn't ever have a like for a guy who's a talking head who has a show where he talks about stuff and like, you know, tries to sound intelligent about shit. He doesn't seem to have any opinions that are unique to himself that seem like they're things that he thought of himself. And if he does think of something himself, it's so obvious and so stupid that he thought of it that you just know that he thought of it himself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you're saying something smart. That's something you heard and you're repeating. Oh, you're saying something stupid. That's not funny. You thought of that yourself. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just jealousy because he's got a bigger channel than me, but I think I think I'm smarter than him. And he might knows more about some subject or whatever, and fine, you know. I'm not talking about knowing more about his subject. I'm talking about being smarter. Well, this is never coming back. We're sitting at like 10 minutes of their 5-minute break. How long does their break go? Let's see how far back it went.
The public.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been on 5-minute break for 20
Majority
minutes now.
Leader Rodriguez.
Senatorial 5, please.
Senatorial 5.
Senator 05. So this guy called for a 5-minute break, and now they've been on break for fucking 20 minutes. That's what happened. They're still not back. 5-minute break. Senator 05. Senator 05. I'm just going to walk into work and be like, oh, there's a bunch of tables that need fucking stuff. Fucking server 05. And then I'm just going to go out to my car and get high for like fucking 20 minutes. Server well. You should do a collaboration with Ray Ray talking about gay community YouTube. Why do you want Ray Ray back so much? NC Lucky. Because you were talking about it earlier too, weren't you? Or was that someone else? I can't remember. Whatever, it's fine. Do you guys miss Ray Ray ever? You wish he was here still? I found it was so hard to talk about shit with his fucking presence sometimes that it's like worth it to not have him here. Engine Guy says, Honda, I think Supreme Court should have to see every single case that comes across their way. I agree. If there are cases that meet the standard of being able, because like you appeal and appeal and appeal and appeal, there's got to be a certain level of appeal that it's like, all right, like this isn't about a constitutional thing. This doesn't involve the Supreme Court. So there's got to be like a highest court for appeals, I would think, that's not the Supreme Court. But then if an appeal is on a constitutional basis or an interstate fucking law basis, like two states are fighting about the interpretation of their laws or whatever it is, then you need an intermediary on behalf of the federal government to step in and decide the case. So I agree. If it meets that standard of a constitutional problem or an interstate problem that can't be solved by a lower court, then yes, 100% of cases should be heard by the Supreme Court. There are some weird ones that just make it up there. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I don't know why some of the cases that are heard by the Supreme Court are heard by the Supreme Court. It doesn't make sense. And also, the courts shouldn't be making law from the bench. They should be interpreting law, I suppose. At the very worst, they should be interpreting law. But the laws shouldn't need interpretation. They should be written in a way that's clear enough that you don't need a fucking court to be like, what the fuck they mean by that? Like, Steve D says, have you ever thought about getting a Harley? I know it's off topic. I've been looking at them lately. No, I'm not really a Harley guy. I don't know. Like, they don't do anything that I want. You know, it doesn't go off-road. It doesn't go around corners fast. They weigh a lot. They stop like shit. They cost extra money. I don't know. There's lots of reasons to get a motorcycle that aren't a Harley versus that are a Harley. And there's, you know, some Harleys are cool. Like an FXR. If I was going to get a Harley, I would get an FXR, if you know what that is. They stopped making them years ago. They made the Dyna instead eventually. But it's like a lighter version of a Dyna with some fairings on it. But it's also got better upgraded suspension and they have just a better ride to them. But yeah, Harleys aren't my thing. And I'm not saying like, fuck you if you like Harleys, you should get the fuck out of here. It's just not my thing, dude. I mean, you know what bikes I have. I've got a sport bike that's technically a sport touring bike, but it's more sport than touring. And then I've got a off-road bike that does off-road things and does cool shit that normal bikes can't do. And it doesn't look cool. It doesn't, you know, it's not pretty, but it does awesome shit. Dude, this is the longest fucking 5-minute break. Yeah, we're sitting at 27
Thank you,
minutes.
Madam
They've been on
Chair.
break.
I rise for Evans.
Oh, wait.
Makes no
Motion before the body is the adoption of L2.
Since I got to this in the
There we go. That's where they... Who's this guy?
Rodriguez.
Senator 05, please.
Senator 05.
Senator 05. 26 minutes ago. Honda 05. It was this guy. Look, and now he's over there 27 minutes later on his 5-minute break. Do you notice how many of these people are waddling instead of walking? Waddle, waddle, waddle. Got to get your microplastics in. Brother. The off-road converted sport bike was sick. Have you ever seen Jake the Garden Snake's FZ07 that he turned into a dirt bike? That thing's pretty fucking cool. Also, I forget the guy's name. They took like a Ducati and they did a gold wing. They did an off-road gold wing, like a dirt wing. That was pretty cool. If Harley doesn't leak oil, then it's out of oil. If there ain't oil underneath them, there ain't oil in them. Time to kick the tires and light the fires. I just got Tusk 2-track tires for the 89 Transalp. Oh, shit. You've got a 1989 Honda Transalp? That's actually pretty cool. Bro, you know, I'm planning, and that would be a bike that you could do this on, especially with those kind of tires. In January, February, March, April, May, June, like the first week of June, we're doing like a moto camping trip in Colorado. Hit me up. Maybe you could come if you wanted. Movie recommendation 2149, The Aftermath. Short and kind of weird, but the social commentary it gives seems sort of appropriate for the community. It has a bit of 1984 feel. I saw it on Tubi. Okay. 2149, The Aftermath. Yeah. That's a pretty cool bike, that old Transalp. Those are pretty cool. When I looked, there was already oil under it, but because he overfilled it before he started it, LOL. Dude, I mean, again, if I want to work on a bike, I'll buy a Harley. If I want to ride a bike, I'll buy a Honda, a Kawasaki, a Suzuki, or a Yamaha. Like a used Yamaha will kick the shit out of a Harley in every single way, including price. Had to step away for a minute. Didn't know if you covered this, but what do you think of Elon will undercover at the IRS? Corruption everywhere. What we've learned is that every single institution of the government is corrupt. Every single institution of the government is on the take. They are all wasting money so that they can pay themselves more. Uh-oh. Speaking of shitty Harleys, you hear that? Harley running off of one cylinder? Doesn't sound like a Harley, does it? Because it's not running right. I thought it was my dirt bike, my KLR. I guess they're just never coming back from their Senate 05. Senator 05. Taco bike gang? What's a taco bike? Mexican bikes? I always thought the Mexicans rode like Kawasaki's because they couldn't afford Harleys, but they like the Harleys. Been working on our dad's old 67 Triumph. That's pretty cool. I guess he just wants to work on bikes, not ride them. There is that. Does a bear crap in the woods? Asked the rabbit. Dropped in $2. Said, "What's going on with the band?" Well, they decided to take a 5-minute break, and it's been about 30 minutes now. So, like, I started the stream, and we had about 9 minutes of action, and they're like, Senator 05. And now I'm making fun of my neighbor for his Harley that sounds like a fucking lawnmower. Because it only had... Like, why is he trying to start his shitty Harley in the fucking cold at night in February at 9:21 p.m.? I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me, but it's fine. Dude, those Evil Knievel bikes were Harleys, but they were Harleys that had been gone through. The motors have been upgraded with like cams and stroked and bored and fucking bigger pistons. And then they would take the suspension and like give it like a huge upgrade, like as big as they could for the time. Oh, and look, a wild Zarate has appeared. Yeah, we're talking about the Colorado gun ban bill. I was just decided to stream this. I could use some company though. You wanna link, buddy? Z. I sent a link. If you want to join, you don't have to. Flat trackers, dude. That Tulsa place we went to had a flat track, but they had like these little mini cars, like funny cars that they would have in the flat track because I guess the motorcycles are too dangerous. They don't do it anymore, is what the guy was saying. Same thing with Pikes Peak. Pikes Peak used to have a. I just did send you a link. I mean, like they have the race at Pikes Peak every year, obviously, but they used to have a motorcycle fucking. I don't even know what the word is. Race offering fucking section. But they don't do that anymore because not every year, but most years someone would die. Because you like wreck on your car, it's like, oh no, you're tumbling down the hill or you hit a big rock or whatever. You come around that corner too fast on a motorcycle because whatever reason you can't fucking make the turn. You're not going to make it. It sucks. Think about gravity. Gravitational potential energy. I was going to the Royal Enfield flat track race in Ventura, California, but got invited to Spain. Poor you. It's true. I can't believe the Isle of Man TT hasn't been banned. The popularity of the Isle of Man TT has guaranteed that it will be a race forever and it will never go away. These bitches are allergic to work. Yeah, how long is their 5-minute break been now? Let's go back to this thing. It was right about here.
Okay. Oh, sure.
Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Senator 05, please.
Senator 05 has been 34 minutes and 52 seconds since they did a Senator 05. No, they did not already vote. They're still working on amendments. They've been going all fucking day, apparently. Because they're really trying to fucking shove... Like, they know they're going to pass it because they have the majority by a significant margin. So they're going to pass this. They're going to shove it down everyone's throats. I think, if anything, the Republicans, the only thing they can do is slow it down. Which maybe that's what they're doing right now. You know, like, this is the tactic. This is how we win. This is the way. Very familiar with old Bandemere and Pikes Peak. They actually, Bandemere has disbanded. Bandemere got attacked and sued and a bunch of shit during COVID that happened. And then, yeah, basically they bought a bunch of land out east. Not like east, like a different state, like east in Colorado, like some of the plains land where no one lives. And they're building a different flat track, but it's not as cool because, like, I don't know. The cool thing about Bandemere was it's like right in the foothills, the base of the foothills, you know, like that part of Colorado. And now it's like, oh, it's just like basically Kansas, you know? Like, I mean, it's still Colorado, but it's like the Kansas part of Colorado. And yes, there is a Kansas part of Colorado. You worked at Toy Tech? Nice, that's cool. 16 ounces to the 5-minute break. You're 16 ounces? You've drank 16 ounces of beer in this 5-minute break? That doesn't sound bad. I might want a beer. I might want a beer. I kind of want a beer now that you mention it. You ever do a little bit of salt with your beer? Makes the medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar. All right, this is getting gay, dude. I got nothing to talk about. I was going to talk about what the fuck they're talking about on the screen. And, oh, I paused it, didn't I? They might even be back. Oh, what do you know? They're not back. Senator 05. Senator 05 was now 38 minutes ago. Honda 05. I'll be right back. Great. Now I have to go down. I thought you were coming to join the chat, Mr. Zarati. All right, fine. I'm going to go grab a beer then. That's what I'm going to... If everyone else can just take a break and grab beers and not show up to chats when I send them invites after they ask for one and say that they're going to take a Senator 05 and take a fucking 40-minute break or some shit, I can go get a goddamn beer if I want one. I'll be right back. Coors Light. That's right, Coors Light. The Cadillac of beers, they call it. No one calls it that, actually. Oh, it's just so good when it hits your lips. Bro, you got to get out of that fucking state. There's high-paying serving jobs in Florida. I don't think I want to move to Florida. The way it's going, we're all moving to Michigan. Oh, someone got the fucking reference. Frank the Tank. Well, I'm sorry, guys. This is the gayest stream I think I've ever done. This is gayer than Pride Month. Hey, speaking of gayer than Pride Month. Nothing. Nothing to say? What's up, dude? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
I guess that's the proper response. If someone says, speaking of gayer than Pride Month, and then, like...
You start talking.
And then, yeah, you just don't say shit. Your mouth shut. That's what you do.
And guy at the Dubocasi.
First one to speak loses.
Pretty much. So you decide. I have hiccups, by the way. Sorry, everybody.
You're good, dude. How you doing?
Good. Wasn't expecting to see a show on the platform, so I was like, okay, well, this is interesting YouTube stuff.
Well, I wasn't going to do one. I was just sitting around.
Yeah.
And I was hoping Matt, Never Enough Ammo, the other dude who's sometimes on the chats, was going to do one because he usually does shows tonight.
Yeah.
But he's in the process of moving right now. And then I saw this whole thing going on where they're voting on the Colorado assault weapons ban. So I thought we would watch them talk about their vote live and the amendments that they're making and all that shit.
Mm,
And then
yes.
they were like, Senator 05, which means apparently a 50-minute break. Hold your breath. Take a deep breath.
Definitely caught that last part when you were like, "Oh shit, they're done with their break. Look at that," because you had nothing to talk about. That was hilarious.
I mean, that's the problem with watching shit live. I mean, I guess we could watch what they were saying earlier, but I don't know. This is super gay.
How long is the session supposed to last? Does it have like a time frame parameter?
That I'm not sure.
Sometimes they have to come to an agreement by a certain time. I don't know if this is one of those. I'm just saying. Could be.
Well, that's what happened last time. Like their last session when they tried to pass a similar bill.
Mm-hmm.
They basically just ran out of time to amend it or talk about it or vote about it.
Yep.
And then, so this time, it was like one of the first bills that they introduced as soon as they were in session, so that they would have all the time that they have to debate it and talk about it and then vote on it. So,
right. This
pretty
is
much,
one of
I
those.
believe it's going to be an issue this time.
Isn't this one of those sessions where they have to do this so that way if people don't like it, they actually have to go through a process to undo? I think that's what this is all about, right? In Oregon, I feel like they just pass stuff and then we have to go back and be like, "Oh, we didn't like that. We need to fight that."
Usually, it's just a matter of, okay, the people who got elected are now elected. They're now in office.
Yeah.
Do we have enough votes to get this done? Yes or no? You know, and then they have to go through the process.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I don't know, man. To be fair, I am not a member of the Senate or House or any sort of governmental anything. For all I know, they're
working
whacking
on
each
that.
other off behind the camera right now in order to get the bill fucking passed. I don't know how this thing works.
And we should definitely get into it. There was a joke. People
Calhoun dropped in $5 and said, "For lidocaine cream for your bunghole after they pass this bill, and ream the fuck out."
Okay.
Well, that was
Big
a little
fan of
graphic.
lidocaine. Stuff works on your calves and your ankles and they hurt though, for real.
Really? Because my ankle hurts like a bitch all the fucking time.
Yeah, I think you can get lidocaine like 2% over the counter, and then I think for the 4% or higher, you gotta get a prescription.
Well, what we got to do is get that 2% shit over the counter and figure a way to like fucking
Make it
turn it
free.
into like fucking super concentrate, like 99%. After 40, it's a cankle. I don't have cankles. I still have ankles, and I'm over 40. I know what a cankle looks like. I don't have cankles.
Ankles either.
That's just like a fat ankle, right?
You can have a fat ankle.
Right. I'm saying if you have like a big fat person ankle, that's what a cankle is.
Yeah. Where does the ankle stop? It just keeps going.
I'm all for everything, but the last half of the chocolate backwoods, just tried it, started gagging halfway through. What the fuck is a chocolate backwoods?
It's interesting to say the least, though.
Like backwoods fucking that fucking fake moonshine shit.
Oh yeah, that or roadkill.
Well, it's just like backwoods blueberry, backwoods vanilla, backwoods backwoods whatever. They've got different flavors. I assume that they've got a chocolate flavor. I don't know.
I like backwoods barbiturate, please. For 2.
It's not really backwoods if it's got a label and you sell it at the liquor store. Like, I'm just saying, dude.
Yeah.
There's nothing backwoods about it, except for the fact that it comes in a fucking mason jar because that's your marketing.
It's not shit. That's how you gotta sell it. It's not moonshine. It's not in a jar.
Well, yeah, I mean,
An oil can. You can be in an oil
actual
can.
moonshine is like 70% alcohol and tastes like cinnamon or something. You know, it's got like.
Yeah. Have you seen the ones that come in an oil canister though?
No, I actually.
Steel. I gotta figure out what it's called. I'll figure it out. It's a whiskey.
I haven't honestly seen too much moonshine in Colorado. The only time I ever saw it actually was when my friend decided to distill his own alcohol from wine that he bought. So it wasn't even like, I don't know, like you take corn and make a mash and do all the things that you would do to make fucking actual alcohol. And then, sorry, now you got me fucking hiccuping. And then
I don't know
distill
if
it
they're
down and
contagious
shit.
over the phone or over the line.
That was the beer that did it, but you were talking about it, so I'm blaming you.
Yeah. Still House is what it's called.
Stillhouse.
Send you a picture. You can do whatever you want with it.
Stillhouse. Put it in the private chat.
Send stuff to the private chat. Man, I'm old. I don't learn this stuff
You
unless
see
I
the
want
private
to.
chat button on the right?
Yeah, private chat button on the right. Yep.
Because then I can share it with the class.
Yeah, but I don't have a way to text the private class from my phone. Oh, I see what you're saying. Look it up like a big boy on my computer. God, so many smart things I could do.
I'm an asshole. You're right.
Mm.
I used to buy moonshine back in the day from a cop that did security at night at my college. What the fuck?
Yeah, you were friends with Pete too. Yeah.
No, that's what
Honda and I. Did you know Pete? You knew Pete.
Ear clops?
No, Pete. That was Kevin. That was Jason.
Pete, and Pete. I don't remember Pete.
Pete was the guy who smoked the weed with a cop who took his name tag off over in Black Forest Road. Oh, that was a crazy story. Pete's still around.
I used to have a roommate, Pete Tantus Unthorn, who he was Laotian, who dealt lots of drugs, like lots and lots of drugs. And what he would do is take like $10,000 cash and go meet this guy in like the fucking hood in Denver somewhere and pick up roughly 5,000 pills at a time, like $2 a pill.
Yeah.
And then he'd come back to Colorado Springs and sell them for like $10 a pill.
Yeah.
They would sell them for $10 a pill to the people who would sell them to everyone else for $20 a pill. So like, yeah, he was making fucking money, dude. Because he would, he'd take $10,000, buy 5,000 pills, turn 5,000 pills into fucking $50,000. Fucking. So he's doing this again and again, and he got to the point where he was buying more than $10,000 worth of pills at a time, and buying like 100,000 pills at a time. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he was driving back from Denver with 100,000 pills in a trash bag in his trunk. Driving the speed limit, doing everything correctly, plates correct, windows not too tinted, like no law that he's breaking.
Yeah.
And then 5 cops get behind him and pull him over. Pull him out of the car at gunpoint. Don't ask any questions. Just start pulling shit out of his car and putting it on his roof.
Dang.
Until they realized this isn't the guy that we're looking for. But we just pulled 10,000 pills out of his trunk. So they had to let him go.
Yeah, that sounds legal.
But sure enough, within a couple of months, or it was within 2 months, the house that he was then living at got raided by the DEA. And then he spent the next 5 to 10 in prison.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, I can't look it up from the computer because I live in Oregon. We're a controlled state. You can't take pictures of whiskey online.
You can't take pictures of whiskey? What does that mean?
It won't let me save it. It's really odd. Like I can't do it on my phone, or like I can't take a picture of it on the computer and send it to you, like a cut and paste situation.
Oh,
Won't let me do
it's
it.
like it's like a bottle of fucking
Weird.
lacquer.
Yeah, but
Not
it's
liquor, but lacquer.
exactly. It's an oil can.
Back when drugs were legit. Yeah, that was a crazy story, man. Looks like he would have got wised up and at least moved the stuff. Well, what got him was the fact that he was making so much money. And he had so much fucking money that he didn't know what to do with it, that he like called his dad and he's like, "Look, I've been doing this drug thing on the side. I got to admit to you, I'm sorry. But look how much fucking money I have and I don't know what to do with it. Can you help me?" And so him and his dad started a business where they were funneling money through the business and making it like legitimately theirs, like an intermediary. They were laundering the money. And that's what they really don't like. When you start laundering money, when you make so much money, you have to launder it.
Yeah.
That's when they start looking at you and wondering, because then when they bust you, they would get a huge payout. You know, they get to fucking keep the fucking money. I don't even know what they do. That's a great question. What do they do with the money when they're like, all right, we busted a drug dealer and we took, $200,000 from his basement in cash? What happens to that $200,000?
The cops take their portion, and then when they're done, it's a good question to ask.
Yeah, I know you don't get it back. It's not like you get to like use your
Right.
drug money to buy a lawyer, I mean, if you already bought the lawyer with your drug money, yeah, but like after they take your money or after they bust you, they don't like give your money back so that you can spend it on shit. I would start a real business. Yeah, but then you got to come up with like, how did I have the startup money for this business? What you got to do is like start like a cheap business that's like $5,000-$10,000 to open the door or whatever, and then you just start pushing money through it like you're fucking selling hot dogs like crazy or something. You know what I mean, or whatever it is. My dad actually did that. That's what he got busted for too.
Yeah.
He had a film development kiosk at the mall back in the day that I remember my older sisters used to work at when I was a little kid. And he had a like diamond business where he would buy and sell diamonds and make money, but that was total scam. He would just buy diamonds and then sell them and be like, "Oh, I made all this money." And that's how they got him.
I know
That's
you can
why I didn't
get
have a dad growing up.
Yeah. You could have a little, just like get a storefront, right? And just buy stuff at Costco and just mark it up to double. Everything in your business is marked up 50%. So if you want it from the store, you got to pay 50% more. So I mean, you're going to double your income in however long.
Yeah, but the problem with that, it's not like it works out like that, because there's overhead costs and there's like fucking like licensing and all that shit costs that you got to go through to sell stuff, and then taxes and stuff that you got to pay on the money. So like, yeah, like technically when you sell your bubble gum, you're selling it for twice as much money as you bought it for. So it's profit, right? Yeah, minus how much it costs a month to fucking have your store open and keep the lights on and do everything and make payroll and pay taxes and insurance and everything else you got to do.
Essentially, you're going to make, maybe 30% if you're lucky, hopefully.
Well, you got to sell enough volume. Like if you only
Yeah.
sell like a stick of fucking gum a month, like you're losing the fuck out of your money. If you're selling,
if you're not selling packs of gum, you're fucked.
Yeah. Then you make your wife your accountant. Yeah, then she goes to jail too. Then your kids are raised by grandma.
What's going on in this Senate feature thing, or this House, whatever we're watching?
So they're trying to debate and vote on the Colorado assault weapons ban.
Right.
which is the most wide-sweeping, unconstitutional, fucking over-the-top, crazy assault weapons ban of any state out of any state in the United States currently. So they're going like above and beyond what anyone, like what California or Hawaii or Illinois or New Jersey or New York, all of these states that have like really bad gun laws. Colorado's like, hold my beer right now.
Senator Gonzalez.
Oh my God, they're back.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Finally.
I'd like to begin.
How long is that break? Holy
as
shit.
we shift the contour of the debate related to Senate Bill 3. First, by extending a moment of gratitude to the sergeants, to our nonpartisan staff,
That was a 50-minute,
to the
5-minute break.
bill drafters, and to everybody who is here, to the custodians who are helping us continue this work, even though it's almost 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, you work so hard, you fat fucking cow.
And with that,
Look at you.
Madam Chair.
There's an amendment
Go
at
sit
the
back down and
desk.
eat another burger.
Will the clerk please read Amendment L25?
Right.
Amendment L25.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move L25-003.
To the amendment.
Thank you. We heard concerns both in committee and then also in the opening moments of this debate related to transfers to heirs, H-E-I-R-S, heirs. And so this amendment clarifies that language in order to be responsive to those concerns. I ask for an aye vote.
Senator Lundin.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. We started out this morning, or I guess it was this afternoon, it felt like this morning, looking at the committee report and the fact that we were amending to the introduced bill. And let me pause and add my voice. We may not agree on anything else as we continue through the balance of the debate, but I want to add my voice of gratitude to all of the nonpartisan staff, the drafters, the folks behind the counter here running the clerk's desks, the sergeants, and all the people that care about this who continue to remain engaged in supporting this process. So on that, we agree completely. As to the direction we're taking with the bill, I think that there are some elements of these amendments that in fact might find minute improvement, but generally, based on what I know at this point, we are not on a track to get to a successful conclusion that this is Constitution honoring, principle honoring legislation that we will end up discussing. So to Amendment 25, which is where
they'll pass it anyway.
We are. Page 5, line 18, this has to do with the transfers. It would, line 18 here, we're striking heir and strike state and substitute state. So this has the effect, and the bill sponsors might want to redirect me here if I've got this wrong, of not allowing for the transfer to an individual in another state. That's the way I'm reading the bill at this moment, at this late hour, on the fly, as we're trying to reconcile.
So they're trying to make it so that you can't have the gun.
That is one part of the amendment. Then we jump over to
want to get rid of the gun
7,
because you can't have it.
Introduced bill, line 5.
You can't sell it to someone in a different state who can have it.
This is again in the section dealing with transfer.
Yeah.
The transfer or sale of a specified semi-automatic firearm to and receipt or purchase of a specified semi-automatic firearm by federal, state, or local historical society, a forensic laboratory, and then immediately following
God,
that,
dude, I don't
for
know how much
analysis,
more of this I can watch. This is super boring.
And it adds another element.
Yeah,
transfer
I gotta go soon anyway,
occurs
but it's
by
still kind of
operation
garbage too, because
law
then if you
or
wanted to get
because of the
something from
death
a
of a
different
person.
state, you couldn't. Because,
No, you can't.
Because you're not allowed to transfer anything, just like you can't transfer whiskey out of Oregon because of control.
Effectively, this is making every semi-automatic gun, handgun, rifle, or shotgun illegal.
Which is a violation of the Second Amendment.
Right.
Yeah. 100%.
But they're doing it anyway, and they're
Yep.
gonna shove it down everyone's throat anyway. And by the time that the courts get around to overturning their unconstitutional bullshit, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands potentially of people are going to be affected by this in a negative way.
Yeah.
Not to mention all of the people who would want to buy a gun during that period of time who would be limited to what guns they can buy, which would basically be like revolvers or pump action shotguns.
Which I don't understand. Who is this? Is this seriously a democratic thing they're trying to do, or is this just kind of what these guys want? Is it bipartisan, or is it a partisan?
Oh no, it's not bipartisan, but they have the majority. They have the majority of the House. They have the majority of the Senate. They have the majority of. They have the governor. They have the majority in the Colorado Supreme Court. So they can do whatever they want.
Gotcha. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So it's not bipartisan, like the Republicans or the independents are fighting against this.
Yeah, nobody can.
There's not enough of them.
Yeah, got you. Okay, thank you. It just helps me understand a little bit better.
Yeah, shit's pretty fucked, dude.
Yeah, that sounds really ridiculous on every fucking account.
What do you think about all the corruption that Doge has been finding?
This has happened a couple other times. It happened. What, Truman did it back in his time, and then Bill Clinton did it in his time too.
I think that the level of corruption and wasteful spending that they're going to find this time is going to make every other time that they've ever fucking done anything like this seem like something else, because this is going to be different. It's going to be so much
different. It's also Republicans doing it, so people are automatically going to hate it that didn't win their election, and that's where they need to realize that this isn't really a bad thing. It's a good thing to have a separate entity coming in. Granted, it is Doge, and that's kind of weird because you're again boosting a corporation, but having an outside smart company come in and look at where the money.
Hold on. Doge is not a company.
No, I know it's not a company. It's a coin.
Right. But Doge was named that because he thinks Elon thought it's a funny meme and likes the name. I think, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a government appointed entity. It's not a fucking corporation.
Right.
It's led by
Elon
Musk.
But it is outside of the government. Because you can't. Government has to be voted in. It can't just be appointed.
The government's appointed all the time.
Well,
judges are appointed.
Then they can be fired too.
Well, prosecutors or DAs can be fired. Judges?
Let me ask you this:
have to
do you have a problem with this?
With the Doge?
Do you have a problem with him going through and looking at where the waste is and calling it out?
No, dude.
No, okay.
I think anyone standing in his way is probably guilty of being on the take, honestly. Anyone who's against Elon Musk as an individual working for the government to go through and root out all of the corruption and wasteful spending in the government, and you're standing against that, means that you're fucking making money off of it and you don't want to lose your fucking cash cow.
Right.
Or worse, you're guilty of crimes and you don't want to get caught.
Yeah.
So either way, fuck you. Get out of the way, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
The problem with the way people are looking at it is, Elon Musk makes $1,000 a second, $84,000 a minute, $5 million an hour, $120 million a day. That's insane. And then $840 million a month, $40 billion a year. That's ridiculous. And so the part that's hard is he wants to cut, your $65 Social Security check. Granted, my mom makes $750 in Social Security, and then she has a pension on top of that. So my mom's working with $1,200, $700 that comes from the government, and then the rest that comes from pension, which isn't that much, and she's living on that. So at what point do you choose to cut Social Security from an old lady who can't do anything else but that, and then not cut it in like other corporations or big, big pharma. Like, why are you not taking money from these other entities? Leave the grandmas alone. Leave the citizens alone. And tax.
I don't think anyone has talked about taking money from old ladies or cutting fucking Social Security.
Until you talk to the old ladies. Well, you should get a couple of them on your show to talk.
I'm sure they're worried about it.
Spending
I'm sure CNN has told them to like that Trump's going to do that to them and that they should vote against him and do everything they can to stop him. Has Trump said that? No. Has his organization said specifically that anyone who's getting a direct payment from the government is going to continue to get their payments in spite of the fact that they're shutting down all of these different organizations? Yeah.
You jump to Trump, and like, I don't think that's an issue. So like, my mom, she voted for Trump. My mom's pro-Trump. You know that. So that's where she's at. But her funding has been cut. Her money is being cut. So yeah, she's in fear because she can't afford to lose anymore.
What funding has been cut?
Well, her food stamps were cut. Her Social Security went up like $30, but then her food stamps got cut by like $100. So like, the money doesn't really balance there. There's just a lot of, and honestly, Mark, it's probably statewide things that are being cut, not federal.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I don't think
But
that has anything to do with Doge going over anything.
She can't afford a cut in what the government gives her.
No, and I get it, and I'm saying, like, if you have worked in this country and paid taxes and paid into Social Security, you're at the age where you should be receiving Social Security, that you deserve your Social Security, and you earned it. Period.
Yep.
So that's where I stand with that, and I think that's where Trump stands with it, to be honest.
Yeah. Agreed.
I missed the super chat.
Yeah.
Calhoun says, I guess I should get ready for jail then.
What? Why?
And I don't know what that was in reference to, is the problem. Because I'm an asshole. I'm sorry.
Yeah, why did he say that?
I don't know. He said it like 5 minutes ago, something like that, 9:50. So 8 minutes ago. What were we talking about 8 minutes ago?
Hopefully he's still watching and he can comment on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know, man. Certainly the powers that should not be are going to fight against this with every possible fucking appendage. They're going to flail, they're going to squirm, they're going to spit, they're going to bite, they're going to do everything that they can. And it might work, it might convince enough people, enough NPCs, enough people who aren't paying attention, who don't really know what's going on, that, oh yeah, this is lawfare. But the difference between the lawfare that was going on between, the Biden administration and Trump and this is that there's actually crimes that were being committed. There's actually abuse from the government. There's actually like fraudulent money being thrown around. There's, spending that's abusive that needs to stop. Versus what did Trump do? He had some documents, I think, or something. I don't know. It's a really weird crime what Trump did that he got all the felonies for that just kind of went away as soon as he won, because actually it doesn't fucking matter if you could be a felon and be the president all you want. It was just a talking point, They thought that would make enough people not vote for them so they could keep their people in, and it turned out no one gave a fuck. Like, it's funny.
I mean, I think people do give a fuck. I mean, I certainly give a fuck. I don't give a fuck because of the situation. I give a fuck because if the laws are such that certain felonies are different than other felonies, then cool, but maybe we should like make sure everybody feels that way. Like, it goes along in every sort of situation. Because, okay, so if I got a felony for doing what Trump did and then I can't get a job working at a retail establishment or a restaurant because I have this felony that's done for this, and then like I can't compare it to the highest office in the land. So at what point do you have grounds for keeping me out? Granted, it's crime with money and finances, and it's on a spreadsheet. I get it. You didn't beat nobody up. You didn't rape nobody. No molesting. Like,
hold on.
Okay.
The fact is that the crime that Trump got fucking convicted of in court, in kangaroo court, where everything was stacked against him, the
words
judge was
don't
against him,
help,
it was
really.
in New
The
York.
words
Well, hold on,
don't
let me
help.
finish, dude. You just talked for a minute. Let me finish.
Oh, okay.
No one has ever been charged with this crime in that way before. They did it outside of the statutes of limitation by applying things in a way that had never. So no one had ever been charged with this crime in this way ever in the history of law. And they used a new interpretation of law to go after an ex-president for seemingly political reasons outside of the statute of limitations. And everyone was like, yeah. I'm telling you that if the shoe was on the other foot and Trump's DOJ was going after Biden in a way that no one had ever been in trouble for, in a new interpretation of the law that should have been outside of the statute of limitations, but wasn't because of some chicanery that they pulled, and that he got convicted for a bunch of crimes that no one had ever been convicted of before, ever, we would all be like, dude, this is fucking bullshit. But it happened to Trump, and everyone's like, yeah, because they don't understand. They just don't understand. That's like literally how it is. So when he got convicted, the people who know, or the people who didn't care, like that's not everybody, because there's some people who didn't care because they looked into it and saw that it was a kangaroo court, and saw that the charges were bullshit, and saw that the way that they twisted the law to make it fit to get the guy instead of starting with the crime. And, you know, like you start with the crime. You shouldn't start with the person. They started with the person. And they went after the person. They found any way that they could get him. And that's how they got him. Instead of being like, oh, here's a crime that was committed. Let's investigate it. Oh, Trump was the guy? That's not how that worked. You know, and that's the way it's supposed to work. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you about anything, but you know, using words like kangaroo court again, there needs to be some specifics written down from what's happened, so that way it's not just you know, random words thrown out there to make something seem bad or not
What
bad.
do I mean by kangaroo court?
Well, hold on. I'm talking now. So like, I think we just need to get the laws laid down so it's appropriate, because it doesn't matter how the due process happened. It doesn't matter that it was speedy. You're saying, you know, as a fact from your personal opinion. Not everybody agrees with you. You know, I'm not saying I do or do not agree with you. What I'm saying is not everybody agrees. So therefore, that being said, you do need to actually figure out how to set the boundaries there, because the person who wants to like basically ban all illegals, if you came over here illegally, you need to be banned, versus the person who thinks only the criminals that came over here illegally. You'd ask my mom, she'd say, well, they're all criminals because they all came over illegally. Okay, cool. So here's the deal. The law was broken. The crime was appointed. It doesn't matter how it was appointed. That's not the issue. And that's not what I'm talking about. I don't care if it was a kangaroo court or this or that. The fact of the matter is the felony is there. So when you take somebody who is a felon, and let's say they got a felony for marijuana, but they can't get a job doing something that they love and they want to do because they smoked some marijuana and they got busted with it. They did their time and they're done with it. Why can't they get that job now? That's what I'm saying, is like a felony means one thing. It should be consistent across the board. It doesn't matter what it is. And if it's not going to be consistent, then you should have it written down somewhere where all the people of land agree.
It's literally written down.
It is. That's totally fine. That's what I'm saying. As far as it doesn't.
And everyone who's looked into it, who knows about this case, either agrees with me or is a gaslighting liar with something to gain.
Okay, so here that again, you're being
So let me tell you what I mean by kangaroo court. The judge in the case had specifically got into his seat on the promise that he would go after Trump. The prosecutor in the case, same thing. The several of the objections that should have been like their legal objections that in any normal case would have overruled everything else that had happened in the case, got overruled because the judge in the case pounded his gavel. I mean, I guess the more apt comparison would be like not some guy who's guilty of a crime and can't get a job because he's charged with a felony. It would be some guy who got unjustly convicted of a crime that he didn't commit not being able to get a job. Right? Because that's, I mean, honestly, dude, that's how this case is. And it will be overturned when it goes to the Court of Appeals. Because the Court of Appeals are going to look at the 17 different problems that there are with this case and throw it out. Mark my words. I mean, I might be wrong, but that will be the proof right there. When this finally does go to the Court of Appeals in like 5 years or whatever, you know, everything is going to get thrown out. All of these charges are going to be overturned, and they're going to sweep it under the carpet like it never happened. No one's going to talk about it in the mainstream media.
Yeah, I believe
so that everyone on the other side can be like, oh, we still won, you know, still have our talking point, because no one fucking pays attention because everyone's got the fucking memory of a goldfish. But yeah,
pretty much. I believe that. Lead on steel. That's, yeah. No, bro, I'm not arguing with anything that you're saying. I'm just telling you how people feel on the other side. And like, if you want to have like some empathy points, if you don't care, you don't care. If my opinion doesn't matter, that's fine. But I am a person, I am a citizen, I was born here. So my opinion does actually matter, and it should matter because I have a vote. And you should want me to be on the same voting island that you are, or maybe you don't. Maybe you like the debates, and that's fine. I just want to see our country do better overall, and I'd like to drop all like the name calling and the bullshit and this and that. Like, let's be real. Let's call the government out for the things that they do wrong and hold them accountable. Let's figure out where our money's going, and let's, as a country, maybe just get a couple IQ points and start paying a fucking attention, so we can actually get real people in there and not just jokers, and not having this war against each other. We don't want a civil war. That's ridiculous. Come on. Love your country, man. Support your president.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. But I will add that there are certain elements that would do whatever they could to exacerbate whatever situation that we're in. There are certain people that, no matter, like Trump could come out with a cure for all cancer tomorrow, right? Absolute dead to rights cure, cures every kind of cancer every time, no matter what stage you're in. If you're going to die of cancer tomorrow, you can start taking this pill today and you will live, right? And there are certain people that will be like, fuck Trump, because you know what I mean? Like, he could bring Jesus back and start the 1,000 years of peace. And they would be like, this motherfucker.
America's got a long way to go before.
I'm just saying, bro, like, it doesn't matter what he
Taking the hand
does.
of that bride.
He could bring peace to Israel. He could end the war in Ukraine. He could fucking like put Putin in his place. He could bring back the economy and make eggs 5 cents an egg and do everything that everyone's saying, and they'd still find something to fucking be like, well, he's still Hitler. And it's fine. It does get frustrating. It does get frustrating because it feels like, I don't know, like, have you ever argued with a narcissist?
Probably. I'd imagine so.
Like,
I had a stepdad.
they make up things and then believe their own lies and gaslight you and fucking undermine you, and they have like these like weird fucking psychological attack tactics that they use to like piss you off and get you off kilter and get you off subject so that they can change the subject and judo it around to fucking win. That's what it's like right now, dude. We're like arguing with a bunch of narcissists. Like, it's so fucking frustrating. Like, yeah, you can win, but I don't know. What's this? What did Twain say? Mark Twain, about arguing with, and this is a different group, but then there's the stupid people who believe the narcissists, who believe the fucking gaslighters, who walk down the street screaming at the top of the lungs the things that they believe in when they don't know anything, you know, like those types who are just easily manipulatable. like the useful idiots. And Twain said, don't argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. Anyway.
Yeah.
I love talking to you, man, because you have different opinions and you bring a different position. Like I feel like when like the group talks, a lot of the time it's just an echo chamber, man, because we're like, yeah, fuck Obama.
Pretty much. Yeah, it is tough. And nobody shouts out anything positive on the other side. Like I always give Trump praise for everything he does that's good. Like again, I support my president. You know, my team, I guess, lost, whatever. It doesn't matter. I still have a president. I still have a great country. I'm still going to follow him. Still going to do the things I need to do to be a really good citizen, because that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we should do, in my personal opinion. Again, my opinion doesn't matter. I can see that clearly in the chat. But that being said, I think if we had that kind of positive attitude,
dude,
things might be better.
If everyone had your attitude, especially everyone who, let's say, didn't do very well in this last election and is upset about it, then this country would be so much better. But there's so many people who have the attitude of we didn't win, then burn it down, you know? And that's, I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah. I don't either, man. Just gotta keep rolling and going, taking the punches, giving them back, and that's it. Walking away.
Dude, I was going through some old tweets because I found a way to like look at tweets from like 5 years ago or whatever, you know. So I was looking at my tweets from 2020. Oh, let me pull this up. This is actually cool. Since you're here, let me go to Twitter real quick.
Weird, I got kicked out of your YouTube. That's strange.
What's that?
Oh, no, I had you open on my YouTube site and it just shut down. It was really odd.
Did it just shut down?
Your channel just went off the air. Well, on my computer. I mean,
oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's still going.
Yeah, it's still going. It's just odd. I can see the chat right there, but
where is it? I retweeted what I said.
They're trying to like cut me out of a show that I'm talking to. You can find it,
dude. I found a tweet that because like really? I guess you started a Twitter a long time ago. Yeah. And I found you on Twitter 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't follow through with none of my stuff. It's very
rare. And I tweeted at you like, oh my God, I found you, blah, blah, blah. What's up? And I can't find it now because I thought I retweeted it, but I guess not. Well, whatever. I was also looking at some of the riots and stuff that were happening that I fucking tweeted about at the time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny. That wasn't that one. And it was crazy how normalized we became to the riots during the George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, COVID shutdown era, you know, that led up to January 20th, where every day you turn on the news, almost every day. It wasn't every day. And it was like these mostly peaceful protests where they were fiery in the background and they're burning cop cars and, you know, people are flipping over people's fucking shit. And, you know, like, oh, another person died and like security guard got shot and da-da-da-da-da. It was just like a daily occurrence, you know? And it was just shocking to me, like watching some of these videos from 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Without being in the midst of it and just seeing how fucking violent it was. There was a protest in Denver. There was a Blue Lives Matter, or I don't know what you would call it, like a pro-police protest or gathering or something like that in Denver.
Yeah.
That got surrounded. There was probably like 150 people who were there to like be in support of police officers in Denver. And then they got surrounded by like 600 or 1,000 people who were Antifa and Black Lives Matter. One of them was there to speak. He was like Colorado state senator, Republican state senator, who was there to talk about whatever it was, you know, who got punched in the face and like they raided the fucking stage and everyone had to evacuate. And that was just a fucking Tuesday. You know, like I forgot that even happened, you know, and if that happened today, it'd be like, oh my fucking God. Or if the shoe was on the other foot, especially, and this is where it gets me all the time, is when one side does a bunch of violence and does a bunch of shit all the fucking time. It's like, yeah, it was Tuesday. You know, I forgot that even happened. When the other side does it, it's January 6th. It's the biggest thing since 9/11, you know, blah, blah, blah. And we have to go after all of these people and put 1,500 people in prison and like go after them with the full force of the federal government. And so many people are behind it and like cheering it on, you know. But again, when the shoe's on the other foot, like it was Tuesday. And then they're like, well, what's the difference? Why do you not care about those people, but you do care about the January 6th people? Well, that's whataboutism, right? And it's like, well, because they shut down a function of government when they were trying to have a vote, when they were trying to, like, okay, fine. What about when, you know, Trump was forced into the bunker of the White House because they were firebombing the fucking White House outside and they tried to burn down the church across the street and did all this shit, you know? Oh, that was Tuesday. Were they trying to vote that day? I don't know. Yeah, they were trying to vote, but you know, who cares? Because it wasn't like they were trying to confirm the next president vote. It was just a vote. Yeah, but the law doesn't care about that. The law is the law. And the law doesn't matter if you're trying to vote in a president or if you're just doing a vote. The vote is the vote. And actually, when they looked at it, they misinterpreted that law when they were using it as an add-on to fucking add years of fucking prison time to these January 6th people's fucking sentences. And when the Supreme Court, again, when the Supreme Court, the highest judges in the fucking country, looked at that and said, hey, lower judges, you assholes, you've been like directly misinterpreting this. And very obviously, because they voted 8-0, that they were misinterpreting this law that they were fucking like using as a extension for how much time you're going to be doing in prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, oh, okay, we'll fix it. And they started very, 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 very slowly going back over the cases. And I guess we'll take the time off of yours after we look at, dude. And then like Trump fucking like finally gets in office and he bangs the gavel or whatever the fuck he does and says, hey, all of these January 6 people, you've done way more than enough time in prison. I don't even care if you were fucking like the most violent person on January 6th. You did not get your day in court. You did not have due process of law. Therefore, you need to be out of jail right now. Well, the Democrats screamed and fucking squawked and everything about that because they were so upset about it. But yeah, dude, they didn't care about like the dudes who fucking died in prison of bedbug bites or killed themselves in the process of dealing with the fucking federal government, or the guy whose wife. Oh, good.
Well, the main scoop on the other side for like, you know, what I hear is that it's because of the ones that attacked the cops. So, you know, some people did attack the police and I think injured a few of them. I think one officer got killed. So the pardons that pardoned those people are what, as far as the people that, you know, I'm connected to and what they say, that's why, is because.
Well, no cops got killed that day.
It was I don't remember. One person died, but it doesn't matter. That's not the
one
point.
person died. Her name was Ashley Babbitt, and she was shot in the face by a police officer.
So the reason why the people are screaming upsetness about it is because you're basically like saying it's okay to attack the blue line. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna pardon people that attacked, you know, police officers, essentially. That's
right, but
the biggest complaint on what I hear.
And none of them thought of that themselves. That's all a fucking complaint and argument that they got from the fucking TV. So they're just NPCs repeating something that they heard. First of all, so
like that's all I really hear about as far as that complaint goes.
But my question would be, how long should you go to jail for attacking a police officer, for injuring a cop, let's say?
I'm curious because we're talking about the cops. Somebody in your chat, HBO Matt, said something about a cop lost qualified immunity. That's what gives them protection from certain, crimes that might happen under their watch. But what is he talking about? I'm curious.
He's saying Livingston, Corrigan update. So that's this is a case that he's involved with personally. So HBO Matt is a cop watcher. He's a First and Second
Gotcha.
Amendment auditor.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I love those guys. I love what you do. Thank you for doing what you do. That's awesome.
And he got caught up. I thought it was in Texas. I can't remember where. I guess in Livingston, Corrigan.
Okay. Yeah.
With one of the things that he was carrying was a handgun and a holster that had a silencer on it. Right.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Which you're legal to have if you have the paperwork, and he had the paperwork, but they wrote him a ticket anyway. I forget the details of it. Basically, they try to fuck him over.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
one cop lost qualified immunity so far, 3 officers and 2 chiefs up next. We have them by
That's
the
awesome.
balls, which means he's going to win a big
Heck yeah.
big
Good
fucking,
job, man. Yeah, because they push their weight around and they don't need to be doing that stuff. Those guys are awesome, and I eventually want to be doing that. It's just going to take me some time to get to where I need to be to do that. But
well, if
yeah.
you want to get into that shit, HBO Matt's the guy to talk to. I mean, he
Yeah,
does more of the Second Amendment
reach
stuff than the
out.
First Amendment stuff, but
Sure.
it's all in the same fucking spirit.
Yeah, I kind of am waiting to get into the Second Amendment stuff before I go, because the First Amendment stuff I already know and I've already played around with it a little bit, but it's not as exhilarating as having something for them to attack.
You should go hang out with Infernus, because he's up in Olympia.
I know he is.
And
I
he
should go
works
up
at that
there.
gun range, dude. And he's a
Yeah.
gun instructor, and he can hook you
And
up
I need to,
with
I need to go get
training, with fucking
Yep.
knowledge. If you want to buy something, he could probably get you a discount. Like,
Sure. I don't mind paying for what I get, but yes.
well,
yes,
yeah,
sir.
but I'm saying, like, you wouldn't have to. Not all. Like, everyone else would pay 500. You're paying like 3. You know what I mean? Like,
Heck yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. Money is glorious. Cool. Well, thanks for answering my question on that. I appreciate that.
yeah. Anyway, well, shit, dude. This is an impromptu, almost 2-hour long chat that I didn't mean to do. Then we
For
started
sure.
watching one thing, but it was so boring and annoying that I couldn't watch it anymore, especially after. Dude, the worst part was when they came back. It was better when they were quiet. Like,
Right. I saw you were on there when I got home. I'm like, wait, there's a live chat? What? It's gay frogs talking? Oh, you got to get into that. And so then, yeah, I'm glad that I got on. I do have to go, but I'm glad I got on.
all right. Well, as far as the nothing to say, we said a lot, so we'll stop saying things there. And I hope you guys have a good night. We'll be back on Sunday night. I think I picked up a shift on Saturday. I hope it's Saturday, but it might have been Sunday. So I'll let you guys know if I'm not going to be here on Sunday. But regardless, I'll be back either Sunday or Tuesday or both, and we will talk to you guys then. Until then, I hope you guys have a good night. Deuces, y'all. Shall not be in fridge. Trooper to shop and not under pressure. Batacath care. Prect the troops. 2 words. Made in America. And have a good night.
Have a good night.